Salesforce certificate Pd2 dumps. 6. A developer wrote an Apex method that makes an HTTP callout to an external system to get specialized data when a button is clicked from a custom Lightning Web component on the account record page. Recently, users have complained that it takes longer than desired for the data to appear on the page after clicking the button. What should the developer use to troubleshoot this issue? A. Lightning Inspector. B. Developer Console. C. Salesforce CLID event logs. Answer: A. Lightning Inspector. (7) A developer used custom settings to store some configuration data that changes occasionally. However, tests are now failing in some of the sandboxes that were recently refreshed. What should be done to eliminate this issue going forward? A. Set the setting type on the custom setting to hierarchy. B. Set the setting type on the custom setting to list. C. Replace custom settings with static resources. D. Replace custom settings with custom metadata. Answer: D. Replace custom settings with custom metadata. 8. Consider the following code snippet. HTTP request req new HTTP request req.setEndpoint https://test-endpoint.example.com/some_path req.set method get slob header value equals blob.value of my username plus strong password string authorization header equals basic plus encoding util.base64 encode header value zrec.set header authorization header http new http hit response res equals http.sendRec. Which two steps should the developer take to add flexibility to change the endpoint and credentials without needing to modify code? Choose two answers. A. Create a named credential, endpoint_nc, to store the endpoint and credentials. B. Store the URL of the endpoint in a custom label named endpoint.URL. C. Use req.setEndpoint callout endpoint.nc within the callout request. D. Use req.setEndpoint Label.endPointURL. Answers: A. Create a named credential, endpoint_c, to store the endpoint and credentials. C. Use req.setEndpoint callout endpoint_c within the callout request. 9. Universal Containers requested the addition of a third-party map widget to an existing Lightning Web component. Which two actions should the developer take to implement this requirement? Choose two answers. A. Import the third-party JavaScript module directly into the component. B. Use a content distribution network and include lead script tags in the component. C. Import lead script from lightning/platform/resource load. D. Upload the third-party JavaScript library as a static resource that imports into the component. Answers: C. Import lead script from lightning/platform/resource loader. D. Upload the third-party JavaScript library as a static resource that imports into the component. 10. A Salesforce org has more than 50,000 contacts. A new business process requires a calculation that aggregates data from all of these contact records. This calculation needs to run once a day after business hours. Which two steps should a developer take to accomplish this? Choose two answers. A. Use the future annotation on the method that performs the aggregate calculation. B. Implement the schedulable interface in the class that contains the aggregate calculation method. C. Use the read-only annotation on the method that performs the aggregate calculation. D. Implement the queuable interface in the class that contains the aggregate calculation method. Answers: B. Implement the schedulable interface in the class that contains the aggregate calculation method. D. Implement the queuable interface in the class that contains the aggregate calculation method. For more information visit this site, www.salesforcestart.com.